Hey everyone, it's me Donna. I'm making another DNA related video, and this one has to do with in a previous video I had mentioned some more ideas that I had about things that DNA companies could do to spice things up and to make things better for people who are doing ancestor research. For one thing, they could open back up the ethnicity reports to give people more of an ancient view. That would mean going past your sixth great grandparent as far as the ethnicities that you have, or ethnicity groups that you have, going from there on back, however far they want to go. And I had mentioned that I think it would be a really cool idea if they could, what I call AI, generate your ancestors back together using yours and your DNA relatives' DNA, okay, and then basically piecing a person back together. Naturally, there's no way that I think that they could completely piece someone back together, but they can use what you have and your relatives have to piece together as much as they can, and then the computer system can generate the rest. In other words, which, let me state this for starters. When I say AI, I'm not talking about this crap that's out there where computers are taking over the world and where it can think outside of this. It would be a system to where things are plugged in, the information is plugged in, and then it generates, to the best of its ability, what it thinks that the rest of the picture would be. And that would be the limitations of this AI. So, don't think that I'm talking about something that could get out there and just, wreak havoc on the world. No, this would be something that would just be straight up, restricted to DNA companies' websites, and it's just a matter of automation. Basically, you plug in the information, that it gets what it can from you and from the scientists and the programmers and all the people that have put in their information, and then it goes from there. It just takes it from there. Okay. So basically what it could do is, in my opinion, to start out, the best way to start this whole thing out would be starting with males, okay? The male Y haplogroup, because that is the purest way to begin the whole setup, okay? Then once they get that mapped out, leading up through male lines, okay, to an ancestor, then they could go and get all the mitochondrial female line, as far as, and of course I know it involves males too. It's everything that you get from your mother, basically. So it will have to do with the female line, but everyone that has mitochondrial that is connected to these females, it can start with those lines first, okay, and build a person, okay. So there you go. They have their starting line, okay. Then what it can do is it can take pieces that you have and pieces that your kinfolk have, and incorporate that, okay. And a good way to start is, for instance, let me just throw this out there, okay. Usually from a certain percentage up to about 1% of a person's DNA can basically account for, I believe it's a 4th through 6th great grandparent on average. Like, this is not set in concrete, but just on a baseline, if you have 1% of something, or say point something up to 1%, you might as well say that you are representing uh, an ancestor between the fourth and sixth great grandparent who has 100% of a particular ethnicity group that you have. Okay, so what they can do is, these companies, they can take your 1% and compare that to all your other cousin kinships who are kin to you on the same level. Okay, who come from a same line. In other words, this DNA matches up on a particular ethnicity group, on a particular chromosome. The SNPs match up, all that good stuff. And, they can go that route and then kind of take an average of that. And then they can go up and say, okay, we have so many people who have 1% of this ancestor and so many kinships that are on an even level who have this much of this ancestor. Okay, so we'll take that and we'll just say that this is the fourth great grandparent. Okay, so that is a starting point. Let's just say British. Let's say you have 1% British and your other cousins have 1% or whatever, and then some might have 3% or whatever. Okay, so then they could take all that average and go up to the, whatever they decide, say a fourth great grandparent from that line. Excuse me. And they can say this person is 100% as of right now. Okay, excuse me, goodness. So that would be their starting base. Okay, same thing for the other ones. So then once they get a baseline of certain ancestors, okay, then that you start piecing all the puzzles together on certain chromosomes. Okay, then if there's any other pieces that show up, say they thought that this person, this fourth great grandparent, was 100%, but then as it turns out he has a little bit of Irish. Okay, well then they can turn around and plug that little bit of Irish in there that come from other ancestors or other other descendants, I should say, who got this from this same ancestor. Okay, so then they plug that in. Okay, so then that starts changing up the percentage. Okay, and so on and so forth. And let's just say you have a sixth great grandparent who you can say, due to the fact that so many people have a certain percentage of American Indian DNA, they can say, okay, well, there's a sixth great grandparent here that has all these descendants coming down from them. So we can say, due to the averages of all these people, that this person is 100% Native American. Okay, so then they plug that in. Okay, but then as other people come along and as they see that there's other pieces, then they might have to change it and say, well, they're only 98% because we found little pieces of something else, whether it be East Asian or South Asian or French or Russian or something else. They can plug that in there. Okay, and that's a good way to help with figuring this out. So, I mean, this is not really complicated. I mean, yes, it will take people to, who know how to do math and know how to line things up and look at people's, a program that knows how to get all the kinships matched up, get all the puzzle pieces to to the different chromosomes matched up, okay, and then create this person. And then on the report, once they finally do this, they can say, let's just say they've only got a certain percent of this person known. Say, let's say that for instance, they have like maybe 125 descendants coming down from this ancestor, okay? And they have decided, due to all this, that this person is 70% British and maybe 30% Native American, okay? So they can do that. And then they can tell that, okay, well, we've determined this because we have 125 people equals such and such percentage of this person's pieces of DNA. So that's how much percentage this 125 people have contributed to this DNA painting of this person. Okay? So because of that, then the AI system has finished it out. Okay? As of right now. Okay? So we can tell the public that, hey, this person's descendants have contributed this much, and the AI did the rest of this much. And then as time goes by and more people take DNA tests and stuff, then of course that the ethnicity reports will change, and they will be updated and all that. I just think this would be a really neat thing to do, and I think it would help people with their trees, especially at companies like Ancestry DNA, because as of right now, as the moment I'm speaking, it links you up DNA wise and tree wise up to your 5th great grandparent. It at least as many people that it can figure out as its best guesstimation using your DNA and using the family trees. That's how far back it's going, okay? And you may not get all your ancestors in the through lines feature, and that's what it's called, through lines, okay? But as many of them as it can get in there, because it has as much facts as it can from your own DNA and from the family trees, it has a certain level of confidence that this is true. Therefore, it lists it in this through lines feature, okay? It would be neat if they could open it up, like I said, on further back, maybe up to the 10th or back to the 10th great grandparent, and use, like I said, this whole little system here, and see how well that helps people with their family trees. And it would be really cool if you could also say, if you can kind of have a little bit of a plug-in of what it guesses is your, say, 6th great grandparent who is 100% such and such, or say 70% such and such and 30% something else. It can have that report there, and then it can just plug in that ancestor's name. And the good thing is it can change, like that ancestor can change as time goes by, and more people get more correct information in their tree. Then another ancestor might get plugged in on your 4th great grandparent's side that comes from that line where it has matched you and your cousins up and all that. In other words, it's not set in stone, but at a certain time frame, they do believe that at their best guess that this is that ancestor. But if something does change, they can just plug it in with what it believes is the correct ancestor. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they're already doing that with through lines. Like if you think that you've got a such and such 4th great grandparent, and you think that's true, and it may start out on through lines telling you that, but then all of a sudden you're not getting enough DNA matches, and this isn't working out and that ain't working out. Well, then one day you might see something pop up in the through lines feature that says this is your suggested 4th great grandparent. In other words, it believes that person might be a better fit for your 4th great grandparent. Therefore, you can click on it and review that person and think, well, yeah, I mean, because there might be more cousins, so you can change your relationship to that person, and then a few days later you might go on there and find a whole bunch of cousins and stuff that are linking up to that ancestor just as you are. Therefore, that person was a better match, and then you might can go and do more research and find out that yes, that is your fourth great grandparent. So this can kind of be, helpful in that way, and it can be linked up through the through lines if Ancestry DNA were to pick this up and do it that way. And then just knowing the ethnicity, or like having a good idea as to that ancestor's ethnicity due to all the calculations and everything, that might help you. Because then you might can say, oh yes, I really do have a Native American ancestor. All these years people were saying, no, 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 you don't have a Native American ancestor. That was just people dressed up as a carnival, at the carnival, taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. But then, and that may be so. That may, your third grandparent may have done that. But then you might, through Ancestry DNA's help, you might find out later that that there was actually a Native American ancestor that was the father of this person or someone else or whatever. And it did, it is in there, okay? Even though initially Ancestry DNA told you no, you have zero, but since if they open up their ancient DNA reports and include the smaller pieces of DNA that you have that connect you to this ancestor as well as your cousins, then you can know that, yes, I did have pieces of this DNA in me. So I feel vindicated that, yes, this is true. Same thing with British and Irish. Let's just say you thought that you were 100% African all these years. Well, you might find out later through this, with the help of this, that no, you do have British ancestors and Irish and all that. So it could be a really good thing and a really good tool. So, but I just thought I would try to elaborate a little bit more on it and see if maybe one day this gets implemented. I think it would be really cool. Talk to you guys later. Bye.